Hey everyone, happy Thursday. Thanks for joining us here today on Northern Life. Once again, just me out here, but Hunter's wrapping up his vacation. We got Briggs working hard down in the newsroom. All week, Briggs and the news team have been doing a lot to cover the wildfires that have been burning in northeast Minnesota here. And as families learn about the structures that they've lost in those fires, the local Brimson bar, Hugo's, has become a community hub of sorts up there. Donations certainly piling up for people in need right now as trains of food and supplies make their way inside, and they haven't stopped. It's so great seeing the Northland come together in the worst of the times here. You can find more coverage and stories tonight at 4, 5, 6, and 10 with our team. You can also find the latest information on the Northern News Now mobile app and at northernnewsnow.com. Well, hey, coming up on today's show, with the wildfire situation we have experienced these past number of days, crews have to use creativity and special equipment to fight the flames up there. We see how the DNR handles extreme fire risk across the state of Minnesota. And then coming up later, a registered dietitian gives us a few helpful tips on what we should eat when we're feeling sick. And then on the flip side of that, what we should avoid having when we're also under the weather. Let's start the show off by going down to my hometown, the great city of Maple Grove, Minnesota. However, a battle is brewing in my community all over a sport that everybody seemingly loves. David Schumann has the story about pickleball players who are now caught in a pickle.
The signs went up suddenly and unexpectedly.
In consideration of our park neighbors, pickleball is prohibited due to the noise disturbances.
No more pickleball at Fish Lake Woods Park in Maple Grove. By all accounts, the courts here saw a ton of action.
You're encouraging people to get out and exercise, yet you're banning them from doing that. So it doesn't make any much sense.
There are so many people that want to use these courts that they say it's ridiculous. Our taxes pay for this.
The city says the ban is a result of noise complaints from one nearby neighbor.
What is the noise like?
It's loud.
If you listen to it, hitting a pickleball is definitely louder than hitting a tennis ball.
The family shared their own video of what it sounds like. They asked to remain anonymous because they say they've received threats.
We're not saying they can't play.
Yeah.
We're saying there's other places around in the city to play.
Hundreds of people have signed a petition John Messerly started to reinstate the courts.
Can we talk about time limitations? Can we talk about, using different paddles so they aren't quite as loud? None of that dialogue happened.
Maple Grove's Parks and Rec director says the ban was meant to, quote, protect those that live closest to the park. He says the park board is strongly considering requiring pickleball courts to be at least 200 feet from residences, one of many potential responses to the growing nationwide problem of pickleball noise.
All right, thanks to David Schumann for that report. Turning now from the sound of pickleball to the sounds of the UP. A new singing club in Munising, Michigan is looking for new members. It is the perfect mix of great beer and fun sing-alongs. Tristan Kendrick shares how this group brings comfort to the community through music.
On most days, East Channel Brewing Company in Munising operates as a laid-back neighborhood pub. But if you're there on some Wednesday evenings, you'll hear singing. Twice a month, the upstairs turns into a space for the Grand Island Shanty Group.
Shanties are traditional working songs of sailors. So if you've ever heard of Drunken Sailor, we do have some Great Lake shanties. People that were on the iron ore boats, there's some traditional working songs there.
Steinhoff's sister says the beauty of this club is that anyone can do it.
The people that wrote these songs and sang these songs traditionally weren't all amazing singers. It doesn't matter if you can sing or not. You just get out there and you do it, and it's a good time. You drink a little bit more beer if you're a little bit worried about it.
This club was something Corey Wojciechowski learned about through common friends. As an introvert, she didn't expect to feel so welcomed. But the club of close to 20 people has made her feel right at home.
When I'm here, I am an extrovert. I hate singing when I come here. It's a totally different experience. Just being with everybody in the community, a bunch of my friends getting together, just having a good time. Your fears of being a bad singer or messing up just kind of go out the door.
Morris also says music is a tool they are using to build unity.
You've ever been to a stadium and for some reason the speakers don't work and everyone ends up singing the national anthem? That feeling is what we're trying to bring here.
The club started in December. It's looking for more singers and has a Facebook page for anyone interested. Morris says it's a great time, no matter your age, and everyone fits in. Tristan Kendrick, TV6 News, Munising.
And let's head to the West Coast. Santa Monica, California, known for its beach and its pier, and it appears you can now add squirrels to that list. The city asking folks there not to feed the animals, but few seem to be listening out there. Gordon Tugmascu tells us about the squirrel population at one park that has gone nuts.
To say there are dozens of them would be an understatement, more like hundreds. And these are only the ones you can see with your eyes here at Palisades Park.
Yeah, is this normal? We don't know.
Stroll over to Cliff's Edge overlooking Pacific Coast Highway and you can see where they live. Adults, males, females, and youngsters. They're inside those tunnels. In fact, ground squirrel litters tend to arrive 7 or 8 at a time.
Well, I would say it's not good.
This man, who identifies himself with one attention-getting name, says he loves interacting with the fluffy rodents. In fact, he practices Tai Chi here with them as his audience. But he's concerned.
They are eroding the cliffs.
Oh, I see.
Otherwise, they're beautiful to look at.
The reason is they're being fed here. And now they're not afraid of humans at all. Our cameras captured several folks, unclear if they're locals or visitors, feeding the squirrels right here on the grass. In the bushes, there are plastic trays people have left behind with water or food in them. It's true, they make great subject matter for selfies and memories for the kids.
They seem to be loving all the attention.
But if you want to save these cliffs from eroding any more than they are, says Mike Bonlander, you should heed the signs the city has placed nearby.
Welcome back, everybody. Any spark could create a wildfire. That is what the DNR is saying as we monitor our ongoing fire conditions here in Minnesota. With firefighters who have certainly been busy this past week, Gordon Severson shows us how the DNR handles our extreme fire risk.
When you're fighting wildfires outside the city,
This is a pump right here.
you don't have the luxury of a fire hydrant on every street corner.
Drawing water out from a river, lake, pond.
You either have to pump the water or bring it with you.
The Type 4 like this engine carries 850 gallons of water.
And sometimes you have to go places a normal truck just can't go.
This is one of our track vehicles.
Working in the woods, equipment is everything.
They can climb over large logs or debris.
DNR fire prevention specialist Karen Harrison says they're putting a lot of miles on their equipment this week.
First thing in the morning, we're checking over every vehicle every day.
Their field office in Cambridge is seeing a few calls a day.
It's really hot, it's dry, and it's windy.
We stopped by just as they were switching the sign from very high to extreme fire risk.
I'm telling people, don't be fooled by the green, because if you look closely, there's still a lot of dry, dead vegetation.
About once per day, they're even calling in air support. This video was captured on Sunday showing their helicopter dropping water on a wildfire in the North Metro.
It's very helpful to have.
Tom Simone works on the flight crew. He says a team of 3 crew members and a pilot respond to calls that need extra help from above.
We land, we get out, we put this bucket on, and we go to work fighting the fire.
But despite all of their equipment, their greatest tool is prevention.
Anything that you're doing right now, any spark could create a wildfire, and because of the conditions, it can spread really rapidly and get out of control.
Our thanks to Gordon for that story. It's now time to brighten someone's day out there. That is because today is National Bring Flowers to Someone Day. Put together a bouquet, pick one up, and make a personalized delivery out there. And if you can't do it yourself, order some flowers for delivery. And on Tuesday, we'll have a brand new blindfold to share, taking Briggs to Gordy's Gift and Garden Center in Hermantown. Well, hey, let's now talk about the power of plants. Scientists say they've captured new video of our closest relatives in the animal kingdom giving first aid to themselves and others. Researchers have found chimpanzees use certain plants to self-medicate. Here's Tina Kraus.
Researchers have had their eyes on these apes in East Africa for years, knowing this forest isn't just their home, but a natural pharmacy too, where chimpanzees channel the healing power of plants to treat their wounds.
Some of the plants that the chimpanzees are using for these wound care behaviors actually have known traditional uses in human medicine. Others have pharmacological properties that are actually known to have wound healing components.
Now, scientists say there's evidence chimps give first aid not just to themselves, but to others too. Look closely and you can see this young female dabbing chewed plant material onto an injury on her mother's body. University of Oxford researchers are cataloging all the ways intelligent apes are dabbling in what's been dubbed as jungle first aid, using nature's medicine to clean cuts, soothe sores, and heal their hurt companions.
Chimpanzees thrive here because they know how to access the secrets of this place.
While life is different for primates in captivity, some zookeepers in England are thinking of planting some of the same forest remedies to see if their chimps will show similar first aid instincts.
Chimps are fascinating, they're so clever.
Scientists say they'll keep studying our closest kin in the wild, hoping to uncover the roots of our relationships. Tina Kraus, CBS News, London.
Looking ahead, the summer travel season is almost here, but a new survey finds less than half of adults in the U.S. plan to travel this year, with nearly 1/3 planning to take on debt in order to vacation. Michael George introduces us to one family that now has to plan ahead.
We did like 5 days in Denmark.
The Hines are enthusiastic travelers. The family is getting ready for their second European vacation together in July, a 10-day trip to London and Paris.
We like to plan the trips together and choose places that all of us are interested in.
Melissa Hines and her husband planned ahead, securing hotels after Christmas and flights by January. They've been booking excursions too.
The British Museum is completely free and it hosts many of the world's treasures. Walking through a park is free. So those are all the kind of activities we're looking forward to.
The growth rate is slowing, but overall, a lot of people are still traveling.
A survey from Bankrate found 46% of U.S. adults intend to travel this summer, and 29% are planning to take on debt for that vacation. Another 23% of Americans aren't sure they'll get away, and 65% of non-travelers say they can't afford it.
Travelers are also contending with tariffs, some reduced flight schedules, and a weaker dollar overseas.
Some things you can do to save: use rewards, points, and miles. Be flexible with your timing and location. Use technology to set up price alerts. And consider a staycation.
I think that can actually be really fun, playing tourist in your local area, relaxing, recharging, spending time with family and friends.
The Hines family sees traveling as a kind of investment.
We want our children to have a relationship to the world where they feel connected to it, where they feel safe, they enjoy it, they have a great time.
Welcome back, everybody. For fans of the musical turned film, Wicked was so popular that a live musical special is now coming to the small screen. According to Variety magazine, the special will feature Wicked stars Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande performing live songs from the movie. That special is set to air on NBC here on Northern News Now and stream on Peacock coming up this fall. Also, guess what? Fear Factor is coming back. It was announced that the stunt game show will return nearly 25 years after it initially premiered on NBC. The new iteration of the series, Fear Factor: The Next Chapter, is a reimagined version of the show that Joe Rogan hosted from 2001 to 2006, with some new twists, making it bigger, bolder, and more daring. Let's talk about some health on this Thursday. A new study suggests working long hours could be altering the structure of your brain. 2 scientists in South Korea followed 110 healthcare workers classified as overworked and non-overworked, and they then used a neuroimaging technique to analyze brain volume. Now, the overworked group, clocking in at 52 hours or more each week, had significant changes in brain regions associated with executive function and emotional regulation. Researchers believe these findings suggest a biological basis for the cognitive and emotional challenges reported by people who are overworked. If you have an upset stomach or sore throat, food might be the last thing on your mind. However, skipping meals might only make it worse. So it begs the question, what should you eat when you're sick? We get answers from Jeff Wagner.
Deliciousness on wheels with a side of sunshine, made for a busy lunch hour in downtown Minneapolis.
What did you order today?
I got the gyro and fries.
I ordered a cheeseburger from Sizzling Wagon.
For lunch, I just ordered some tacos.
Would you eat that if you were feeling sick?
Probably not, no.
Not necessarily, no.
Probably not.
Food truck menus might satisfy your stomach, but to soothe it when sick requires a different recipe.
Usually like parfaits, something with fruit.
Ginger ale and crackers.
Like some pho or like some soups, usually.
Choices Sarah Harbeck, a registered and licensed dietitian, appreciates.
Oftentimes when our body is fighting off any sort of illness or infection, our nutritional needs become elevated.
What should you eat if you're dealing with nausea?
I always like to preface that whenever we're dealing with any sort of GI distress or any sort of illness kind of located in the gut, we want to make sure that we're getting in foods that are not going to exacerbate any of the inflammation that's already going on.
Have you heard of the BRAT diet?
No, what's that?
It's spelled like brat.
No, we're not saying to eat brats. The acronym stands for bananas, rice, applesauce, toast.
They're pretty bland, so especially if we have a decreased appetite on top of things, they can be a little bit easier to get in.
They also break down easily while giving you needed calories. What should you eat if you're dealing with a cold or the flu?
So there's not necessarily a specific diet for a cold, but again, nutrient density and hydration becomes extremely important there.
Fruits and vegetables are best, along with plenty of liquids, since dehydration can make symptoms worse.
Definitely waters, coconut water, Gatorade.
Maybe some soup, like something spicy, just to clear out the mucus in your chest.
What is it about soup that is leaned on so much when sick?
It's actually hitting that hydration piece kind of right away. And specifically with our broth-based soups, these are really easily digestible as well.
Soup also has veggies and proteins filled with necessary nutrients.
And I feel like it's good to kind of get away from all the processed food.
Speaking of foods to avoid, Harbeck's list includes alcohol, which weakens your immune system. Caffeine can prevent you from resting, while high-fat foods can further irritate your stomach.
Burgers, anything greasy.
Probably doesn't even sound good when you're sick anyway.
Look, I'm already making faces, sorry.
Jeff Wagner, WCCO News.
Before we go today, let's get to some messages on our Northern Life text line. We got a text the other day from Mike in Floodwood. He told us he watches our show religiously and loves it. Thanks for watching, Mike, calling it the highlight of his evening. He also included this sweet fish he caught the other day. Big congrats to you, Mike, and a big thanks for watching us here on Northern Life. Back on Tuesday, we showed you our blindfold over in Renshaw where we got to milk cows with the Laveau family, and I got a lot of great reaction from you all at home on Facebook. And we had Jacqueline leave us this comment saying, "This has to be one of my favorite blindfolds. I love seeing that quote-unquote city boy Ryan getting that cow ready to be milked. I certainly am a city boy. Good for you, Ryan. I love our dairy farmers too." Thanks, Jacqueline. And I did not know this, but apparently I have dairy in my veins. That is because my dad informed me my great-grandfather was a dairy farmer back in the day with his farm out in Tyrone, New York. So I got it in my veins, I guess. Before we go today, though, some of the senior statesmen of rock are coming to Minnesota this summer. Willie Nelson, Neil Young, and John Mellencamp performing at Huntington Bank Stadium at the U of M. They're also bringing Dave Matthews, Margot Price, and a handful of other artists for the Farm Aid concert. And this will be the first time in its 40-year history that show is coming to Minneapolis, scheduled for September 22nd. Tickets go on sale tomorrow. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. We absolutely love you. We hope you have a great rest of your Thursday.
Find some time to throw a line or just head outside to unwind. That's the life in the great North Woods. Hike or bike, whatever you like. Get out in the day, enjoy the night. Yeah, we got the life in the great North Woods. Yeah, we got the life in the great North Woods. Yeah, this is Northern Life.